Howdy, I'm Jimmy. Thanks for joining me today. Gonna have an interesting talk here. Gonna put my mind on the line, put my logic on the line, make some future predictions based off of my research and a lot of what's going on in the past and the way that I see it, versus the story that people have been told. Plans within plans within plans. So first I want to talk about the Dune's mentats, right? I kind of mentioned them before in my other video, but I want to get deeper in this idea of being a mentat. You're basically being a generalist. You're unbiased. You don't specialize. You're open to the entire world and what's going on, and you don't have any bias. You're simply trying to logically work through what's going on here and where it's headed. And I'm going to do something different in this video. Right now I'm going to stop the film and kind of go through some of that mentat training, just give you a couple paragraphs of the way they think, what they do. Above all else, the mentat must be a generalist, not a specialist. It is wise to have decisions of great moment monitored by generalists. Experts and specialists lead you quickly into chaos. They are a source of useless nitpicking, the ferocious quibble over a comma. The mentat generalist, on the other hand, should bring to decision-making a healthy common sense. He must not cut himself off from the broad sweep of what is happening in his universe. He must remain capable of saying, "There's no real mystery about this at the moment. This is what we want now. It may prove wrong later, but we'll correct that when we come to it." The mentat generalist must understand that anything which we can identify as our universe is merely part of larger phenomena. But the expert looks backwards. He looks into the narrow standards of his own speciality. The generalist looks outward. He looks for living principles, knowing full well that such principles change, that they develop. It is to the characteristics of change itself that the mentat generalist must look. There can be no permanent catalog of such change, no handbook or manual. You must look at it with as few preconceptions as possible, asking yourself, now, what is this thing doing? From the Mentat Handbook. But another really wise principle of the mentat is I alone set my mind into motion. Like, I have full power over how my mind works and how it's used, and by will alone I set my mind into motion. My will, not somebody else trying to play with my mind and use it for some crooked purpose here. But I alone, my will alone, sets my mind into motion. If you meditate, you think on that one, that'll really help you take your mind back. So we're going to take some real world examples of what's going on and then project into the future, like why all that happened and what is going to happen. I'm going to try and make this as quick as I can, hitting all the highlights. So in Albert Pike's letter to Manzini, he literally talks about creating this Jewish state and then eventually World War III is going to be the Zionists versus the Palestinians, right? It's been a buildup, right? Ever since they created it, it's been a generational buildup of hate, more bombs, more propaganda, more control over the factions, ISIS, Al Qaeda. I mean, it's all intelligence agency creations. So we'll kind of, leave all that in the past. You can study Israel, what's been going on. It is all there. But we're going to skip all the way to 9/11, right? Plans within plans within plans, you see. If Israel did not exist, how could there be a 9/11? How could there be these terrorists of the Middle East, supposedly? We all know it was an inside job. So they went to war with Iraq. What did Bush say? Weapons of mass destruction. They don't exist. And I have to put the clip in of where he laughs about it, like 5-10 years later, after all the people are murdered in Iraq and he's at some dinner party and they're still looking for those weapons of mass destruction. I mean, they lie on such a grand scale to cause millions of people to die, and then they party and laugh about it. That's the world you live in, and it's only getting worse if you don't do anything about it. So I'm putting that clip in.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
So basically, if you look at what happened in 9/11, obviously an inside job. They were able to go to war in Iraq, look for the weapons of mass destruction that don't exist. Lie after lie after lie. It's pretty logical to see that these people lie to cause wars. If you don't see that at this point, they will destroy buildings in the middle of their own cities, kill thousands of people to go to war to continue their reign of power and terror over everyone. I don't have any trouble jumping to that conclusion when you study the Bush family, the Clinton family, and just they were best buddies with Osama bin Laden. It's just like the evidence is so unbelievably overwhelming for this small group of people that exists to manipulate reality. I think that what's going on there is they're just trying to have a consolidation of power. Like, the Middle East is one of the last refuges of a wild people that doesn't use the Jewish banking system, that doesn't loan money and then charge people on interest, okay? They're not into Federal Reserve banking in Palestine. They go by their laws, which say that it's immoral to loan somebody money and then a predatory loan. It's immoral to loan somebody something and then make money off of that. No, they do it the old way in Palestine. Somebody needs to borrow $1,000. They let them borrow the $1,000, and then 10 years later, they pay them back the $1,000. And it's how you actually help people. If you have money and they don't, and you see that there's potential there and that they'll pay you back. It's not like the West, where it's all predatory. They print the paper out and they loan it to the slave, and they trick the slave into interest. They trick the slave into everything. And I just think it's a big reason they are just, they got to get rid of Palestine and these people that are free in a money sense, right? Because money is their greatest control in all these Western countries. And you should really understand how they bombed these people in Gaza, how they used AI infrastructure They basically had every Gaza citizen tracked and traced, and there was a number between 1 and 100, and I think 100 was like you're a Hamas operative. If you're a 1, you're just a civilian, right? But what ended up happening is they have an AI system that's going out and grabbing all these people's data, spying on them, watching their locations, and then deriving from all that information if they support Hamas or not, if they're a terrorist or not. Like, if you went on the internet and spoke out in Gaza against being bombed, you're considered a Hamas terrorist. And so what happened is these people that spoke out, their number went up in the scale, and then that gave Israel and its intelligence systems all the bombing targets. So that's why they bombed that place to smithereens so quickly, is they had an AI model go out and grab whoever was dissident and decide that's a target. No evidence, no like, hey, they're passing weapons to Hamas, hey, they received money. No, it was all interpretation of an AI system deciding who lives and who dies in Gaza. I didn't think you should know that while your own governments are implementing all these AI systems to track and trace you. And it'll probably be they'll just shut you out of a bank or shut your money down in the West. It's probably not like they're going to drop a bomb on you, but they want to isolate you if you're able to see the truth of what's going on here. It's all about collective group mind control and having this tortured population that will follow your story no matter what, because that's the choice they decided back when they were a child. They decided to throw away their heart, their mind, their body. They gave it all to this fear. They gave everything they had to ideas of fear, to be grouped up, shoved against each other in a big pigpen slave reality. Alright, so I've kind of hit some of the highlights to bring you to the current day of where we're at. And to me, I can see how every step of Israel being created, this war on terrorism, the AI systems being implemented everywhere, this was all part of their plan like 50 years ago, 70 years ago. They have to slowly drag people in this direction to have full control over them and their mind. I just think there's no argument when you look at the actions. You can, if you have the time, you could go back to all of these major events in our history and see how people were saying the opposite. This is going to stop war. This is going to unite Palestine. This is going to, the war on terror, right? That's going to make everybody safe. It's not going to cause, now you live in a world where anybody could show up with a bomb and just blow somebody up, and it's terrorism now. It's like, it was all intentionally created this way. There was no accident. They said the opposite. So I want to make this point of actions speak louder than words, okay? For a mentat, for somebody who uses their mind to divine the truth, you cannot trust a man's word. It's like that's one of the first lessons I would think of being a mentat is people are going to say a lot of stuff. They're going to point you in every which direction. And just like the classic Israeli way, they claim to be the victim when they're the aggressive murderer. It's just the way this works. They always claim to be the victim, and then they go out and murder the most people. So you cannot trust what they have to say, period. They're trying to trick the Gen Zs. They're trying to trick the latest generation. So they've got all these Gen Zs being anti-Jewish, antiseptic, I guess is what you'd say. But they're always trying to plant the seeds in the younger kids. They've got the old ones. They're the old battery packs that they go to when they need to get stuff done. The older generation will follow their orders. It's this new generation that they have to propagandize and create giant stories for to control for the future. Plans within plans within plans. Let me tell you. I think they're going to destroy the whole thing and create some secular state there. Ruled similar to America, right? Ruled similar to Israel, but not Zionist. And a big part of why they're working on the Middle East is they've already got all the other continents kind of grouped up and controlled. So it seems like they want 10 regions. And then they want like a president of that region. So, you know, North America, they want to combine Canada, South America, and America into one block of power. They want to combine Asia into one block of power. Europe is already there. You have a European Union. So they've conquered Europe. Middle East is the tricky way. They've conquered America. I mean, they've... the Asian countries are pretty conquered at this point. It's all about the technologies and the banking systems. They have to have all the countries of the world on the same banking systems, using the same technologies, the same AI systems, the same spying. It's just a unification of their control right now, that's all. They have control through all these various parties and these different means. But it's all, this age that you've been living through, if you have eyes to see, it's been a consolidation of all those powers that they've had. And I know, you probably think I'm some doomsayer. I'm just using logic to pick apart what's to come. I don't want any of it to happen. But I realize I have nothing to do with all that stuff. Those are other people's actions. Those are other people's lives. All I can do is say what I say and act here where I live in the best way I can. That's why I think just bringing up a different side of the story, trying to help people train their minds to think critically, think differently. Try the best I could do. Try to be an example of somebody who's self-sufficient. So I'm not trying to doomsay. I hope none of it happens. It's just there's a lot of bad stuff that has already happened to get us to this point. And I just think people are that stupid. They'll continue following the orders, doing the biddings to create this techno society. And at the very end of Albert Pike's letter to Manzini, they really think that after they destroy Zionism, Christianity, Islam, they really think that the world, because I mean, they want to transform this world. They don't want it to be like it is today. They want people to have chips in them. They want everybody to be afraid everywhere they go. They want drones in the sky, facial scanning everybody. They want reminder, don't leave your bag here. Like everywhere you go, they want some loudspeaker propagandizing you with some fear. With all this technology, you gotta understand, it's like they just planted all the seeds this year of the whole techno-slave society through the Messiah, Trump. And I'm trying to tell you, like, the seeds are planted. I've seen these seeds they've planted in the past, and they've grown, and they're giant trees right now, taking over. The seeds of techno-slavery have been planted. And I'm just trying to say, this is where I think it's going, based off of the way these people act and what they've done in the past. Keeping my emotions out of it. It sucks it has to be this way. But I didn't make any of it. I'm trying to unmake all this chaos. But at the end of Albert Pike's letter to Manzini, after Christianity is destroyed, Islam, Zionism, they think that the world will be so against God and a creator at that point. They think that at that point they will have proven God to be dead, that he didn't save any of these people that, were worshiping him. So then people will become nihilists. And this is the time for the nihilists and the atheists to rise and their great Luciferian master to take throne. Like, that's literally what it says at the bottom of the letter. Is they want a Luciferian society after the end of destroying all these religions. So I figured I'd kind of let you in on the secret. It's an open conspiracy. It's an open secret. Hey, hope it doesn't happen. I hope somehow we stop it all this year. But that's why I'm not a hope person. That's why I'm saying all this, is because they're going to get a lot of this done. And I just hope that I'm planting a seed within you to see that you could stop it in your own life. You're not going to stop it in other people's lives, but maybe you can get out of the mind control and help bring back peace and sovereignty to this place. A lot of different ways this could turn out. Thanks for joining me. I love you.